my speech in 3, 2, 1. We live in an era where women are told you need to study to be a high-valued woman. But once they reach success, they'd be told, don't be too smart, no man will want to marry you. If they follow the smart girl like Hermione Granger they see in shows, they're too much. But if they don't study at all, no one will want them. So what is ideal? Why is there a standard these women are pressured to fulfill in the very first place? First, characterization. We need to understand how big of an impact media really has on society. The glorification has created for women. Never before has women been given so much spotlight showing the traumas women need to go through. We need to understand there is no ideal way to get out of this trauma, and what the media depicts is only one way to get over and accept the situation. Though, as this grows, it has done more than just show that women are powerful, but to the point where it has become a standard and generalization that women feel the need to follow that picture. Take a look at society. Not all people are able to be open to understand where to place women in society. So what they see in media is how they see it ideally, or for some women, the only place they can look up to. Especially if you understand the characteristics of women that are in developing areas or areas where patriarchy is still very dominant. The woman going through traumatic experiences has no one else to go to nor to look up to, or even not being heard and supported or know what to do after facing these traumatic experiences. So simply, for many young girls, this is their standard, whatever the media shows. It hinders the idea and value in feminism where women can be who they are. For those reasons, we support the decline of female revenge in media. Let's move on to the argumentations. First, we're going to talk about how this is toxic and affects women. Team government supports the decline of the female revenge trope in media. We acknowledge every woman has their own way to deal and face the traumatic events against men, whoever made them feel unworthy, heartbroken, or possibly abusive. But not all women can actually gain closure from being able to take revenge over the man. What happens as this trope grows is women defining and standardizing the idea of moving on or accepting as taking revenge in the form of hurting or being better in order to see the vulnerability of their offender or heartbreaker. This female revenge trope is often being glorified in the media. How does this affect women? Well, first, it creates the idea that to become a strong woman, you should not and do not need a man. It creates a sense as if it's a trade-off. You can either be a strong, independent woman with no man by your side, or you can have a man, but you would never be categorized or seen as a strong woman because you are too dependent on a man. When in reality, living side by side with a man or having a relationship with a man and being dependent to a man are two very different things. Even being dependent to a man is something that is always shed into negative light, when really it could just be depicting a healthy relationship between a man and a woman. This also generalizes women in certain ways. What do we mean here? Many older, closed-minded people or many men see women as, are you the easy type or are you the hard-to-get type? Which then picturizes these women into two. If you're easy to get, people will think these women are the pick-me, easy to manipulate, MPDG, weak, etc. Whereas the hard-to-get trope, or here, in the female revenge route, are the women who are judged as independent, stubborn, and always want to win over men. What does this do? What this does is make women feel unlovable. If they identify as a female revenge trope, right? People don't know how to support these women other than saying you're better than him, you're too good for him. You deserve better, and you can do your life without him. All this does is creates confusion for a woman as well to what's the ideal woman, how to act, and how to be loved. That in itself is principally wrong, as we support that all women are diverse and cannot be generalized just off of one trope. Moreover, people will easily be confused on how they have to support these women who went through traumatic experiences. Not all women will feel closure that they need if told to just seek revenge and that they are better than their offenders. Yet the idea of having to be better and get revenge is always pushed among them. What does this do? One, it creates toxicity. Growing from revenge, right? Yes, we acknowledge that opposition could say that at least on their side, these women are being supported to grow and develop after the traumatic experience. But the idea of growth here is literally built off of the will of revenge and being better. Meaning, if you ever feel threatened of being equivalent or less, you will never feel satisfied with your own growth. Let's say that ex of yours ditches you to be in a relationship with a girl that you think is prettier, hotter, or kinder than you. The feeling of satisfaction and closure that you had before will crumble as you face reality. And that's all because you were only able to grow from seeing the offender in a vulnerable state before. So these women are growing off of other people's vulnerability And that is immoral at its own, right? As we understand that each and every woman should be living side by side, supporting each other despite their differences and diversity. And that is what feminism really is. The choice of these women, how they choose to grow after this, and it's their choice to become whatever they want and how they can actually jump out of the situation. They do not need to seek revenge, nor be better than this man to actually prove that they are women that are worthy and ideal to be in this world. Second, this actually leads into equality, right? What this does is it creates a stigma that these women need to be higher than men, more than men, when that's not the ideal definition of feminism itself, right? We regret how female revenge is seen and what people define of feminism is, right? Feminism is more than just one stereotype or choice a woman takes, but it is the idea of choice that women should have. Yet the female revenge trope shown in media doesn't cater that at all. In fact, it actually creates this worse picture that feminism is actually women wanting to take over men or wanting to take power over men, when in reality, that's just how women see their coping mechanism as, right? And that's the bad picturization that we really much regret is shown on media itself, which is why we believe that there are better ways, or like a counter mechanism here, like other counter narrative here, that can be used to help support these women in a way that it's not just bringing down men, or in a way that isn't just showing women that you can just get over that by getting revenge itself. Because by the end, like we talked about before, revenge at itself does not guarantee that you will face closure, that you will feel safe, etc., right? Because what we want as the feminist movement itself is for these women to feel comfortable in their own choice, in their own shoes. Yet the only thing that this trope does, and when it's shown in media, is that you have to follow that itself. Because these women don't know where to go to, they don't know who to follow, yet that is only one example that they see on media, and the one that is being glorified, and even so many people supporting that in itself. And if you want to get that support from other people, from the people around you, then you have to be better than men. You have to take revenge, and you have to show them that you are worthy of it, when in the very first place, to become a woman, you don't even need to prove any of that revenge or being better. Now, talking more about the counter narrative at itself, right? Female revenge here is like a coping mechanism that they just find because of the situation that they are in. We acknowledge and cannot fully blame these women that have done revenge because of past trauma. What it'll do is after they do revenge is eventually there is going to be a chance of not getting the closure they tried to get off of from revenge, since they're becoming the person that they really hated before. So all that will do is like this woman going on and following the stereotype that they saw in media and has been glorified, but them never really feeling that closure that they should have get from being a woman at itself, right? On our side, we'd rather have therapy, or these women get therapists to talk about this, and actually opening like a center where they can openly talk about maybe the past traumas that they've gone to and relate to a woman by not just having to prove that they're better than men, or having that revenge to be relatable to women on, when in the very first place you can talk and consult other women around you, or even like just be felt worthy without having to prove that you're better or you need revenge at itself, right? Which is why, as team governments, we decline the female revenge trope in media. Thank you.